Thank you very much. We will start this workshop. I'm Blaise Koutala. On behalf of all investigators, I will lead this workshop. We will discuss the prevention of child malnutrition in developing countries, and we also explore possible solutions at the community level. Let's start with some definition and concepts around malnutrition. Some concepts can be similar but don't have the same meaning. For WHO, malnutrition mainly means poor nutrition. For example, a lack of certain essential nutrients, such proteins and vitamins. But malnutrition is not just about food. It is a more complex interaction between food intake, health status, and the physical environment. Sometimes it's said food insecurity means when someone does not have regular access to enough fresh, safe, and nutritious food for proper growth and development. There are different forms of malnutrition. First, we'll talk about chronic malnutrition is often the result of a lack of food quality rather than quantity. It's a long-term condition and is characterized by the delay of growth. Secondary malnutrition is a temporary imbalance between the nutrients needs by the body and nutrients have. So it's coming like someone is seeking, is usually eating well, but the moment that he's seeking, he just have an imbalance between the nutrition that he need and what he's eating in this time. Severe malnutrition is a chronic malnutrition. Among the severe malnutrition, we have a marasmus, that is a severe deficit in calories and proteins. It is characterized by low weight for height, while kwashiorkor is a serious deficiency of proteins rather than calories. Kwashiorkor is a diagnosis by the presence of bilateral edema of the lower limbs. Let's talk now about the epidemiology of malnutrition. The epidemiology of malnutrition is not too well known because the conflation of different concepts associated to malnutrition and the disparity of available data. According to the FAO reports, 815 million people suffer from hunger related to malnutrition. This figure is increasing since it was 717 million at 2016. The prevalence of acute malnutrition is around of 7%. When we take account of regional disparities and rates approaching to 10%. The combination of severe acute malnutrition and anemia is estimated to the 25% in malnourished children population. So, as I explained in the previous slide, there is a gap with the epidemiology data. when we look the latest edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the world, estimating that nearly 619 million people went hungry in 2019, an increase of 10 million from 2018, and nearly 60 million in 5 years, which is different for what FAO reporting. Thus, Africa is the most affected region with increasing of 19%. I can say the rate is more than twice that we can see at Asia with 8%. As you can see here also, the DRC became the first country in West and Central Africa in children malnutrition. Let's move to the diagnosis tools. As a child is still growing, the diagnosis is based on several criteria, including the calculation of BMI, the construction of a growth curve from which it's possible to establish a diagnosis. The criteria of diagnosing marasmus take into account the age, weight, height of child. The weight per height index, which expresses the child weight in relation to a height, is the indicator of measuring of marasmus. So we will move to the malnutrition cause. I think we will not going to dwell on the cause of malnutrition, which are multiples and coexisting. As you can see in the graph of the left, in the background of this whole cause, we have the economic and political factors on the country. Here we are talking about the public health policies and the public nutrition policies of the country. And then when we go up, you can now find the cycle of poverty that does not allow parents to provide adequate food. And when we are going also up, so you can find the problem of lack of education among women who prefer quantity instead of quality of food, without forgetting the problem of sanitary facilities, which aggravates the consequences of malnutrition. So now let's move to the community-based solution. I think several approaches can be developed. The community based approaches should combine the assessment of children's nutritional status, treatment of acute malnutrition, and prevention of all other forms of malnutrition. Here we will discuss some practical and possible solutions at community level. Let's talk first for the role of emotional relationship around the child. The underlying emotional relationship between the child and his environment is crucial. I don't know if you can remember the social model in which grandparents, aunts, uncles provided food and participate in the education of child has disappeared. Now we see the emergence of alone women with kids, and we see more and more young mothers, teenage mothers, unable to assume the role of parent provider. The question is, or will be, maybe it is interesting or necessary to come back to this kind of family or community solidarity, because it's now very, very difficult for a lone woman or young young mother, teenager, to face to malnutrition of the kids. The second point that can be discussing in this workshop is the food and nutrition education. Dedication to access to sufficient quality and quantity of food for householders and community. It seems that is what we are seeing now. The more vulnerable people are, the more they also need food and nutrition education. So educational seminars and resources in food and nutrition have been shown to positively affect individuals' food choice. I think that nutrition education should take place in multiple settings, targeting different population groups and using a variety of channels, tools, and material, just to give someone some knowledge about food and nutrition. We will talk about the therapy foods. These therapy foods have proven effectiveness in some parts of the world. I think in developing countries, women should know and learn how to prepare these therapy foods, which are effective weapons against malnutrition. In Africa, as in others regions, the variety food program of international organizations has been stopped without compensation, while at the local level, people was the possibility to promote the therapy foods initiatives. That's the thing that nutritional practitioners could offer training to women on the use or preparation of these therapeutic food. Let's talk about now the community engagement. What about the community engagement that can be expressed on several forms? This approach consists in the mutualization of community force, like churches, associations, municipalities, in order to bring out some activities around food security. Municipalities such as church or health center can develop agriculture or permaculture activities associated with the livestock for the production of animal proteins. These kind of activities are not difficult to set up and do not require much financial needs. I think that it's possible to do it. So many activities can be experimented in, like food bank, collection and distribution of unsold products, in order to help some families in need. So many things that can be done in the community level. And then we will talk about the last two points, the awareness of hygiene, drinking water, and environment factors. So it should become a matter of the world community. Several studies have shown that the association between health status and hygiene, water, and environment. We think that municipalities, churches, health centers, even schools can provide training or specific publicity on this public health issue. To conclude to this workshop, I will say malnutrition is a complex problem in developing countries, and a explicitly formulated conceptual framework is a useful tool in understanding this complexity. And the effective community engagement, including participation, sustainability, and individual in group health resilience, can be the first step on the process to reduce malnutrition. I think many others activities or things can be explored, can be experimented. So we stop there. Thank you very much for your attention.